36 different domes, okay, and they're the ancestors of the lizard men, okay. Now this area out here they don't talk about very much, okay, because it's, I think it's kind of like a punishment area, alright, know what I mean? So you don't talk along those lines. But there's a book that's out that's been taken out of circulation and locked up and in the archives because the Aboriginal people, there was too much information in it, but I got hold of one a while ago, and they say that there was men that camped, like one camped at each of these domes, and they were considered as information gatherers, very, very powerful. They say that their brain was more powerful than a computer, alright? People would come, they would learn and things like that. They say that they were telepathic, they had telepathic powers, and they could make an animal drop down without throwing a spear. Right, very, very powerful. The other side of things, they say in culture it's very, very important that you're very strong and you're smart and you remember and you learn. Right? You know Chinese whispers, when you sit around in a circle and you whisper something in someone's ear and they've got to say the same thing, but it's always different, and it totally misses the purpose of the story. Okay, if that happened in culture, they would lose their whole history. Okay, because it's not written down, because it can then get into the minds of people who shouldn't have that information. Okay, so if a younger child was showing a weakness in their mind, they would be come down on quite strictly and forced to learn, and then they would be threatened with pain. They'd possibly even be speared, saying you learn, you get smart. And then if they still didn't have anything, it meant their brain might have been a bit broken. So sometimes they might have been brought out here and then they would never return. So it might have been a punishment like that. But yeah, when you're talking about stories, like the stories around Ayers Rock, they've changed like 3 or 4 times since it's been open. And part of that reason is elders that describe the stories, when they pass away and the area gets passed on to their sons, for some reason it tends to be their third children. I don't know about out here, but their third son. They know it at a different level of learning. So they say, no, those stories are wrong. These are the stories, and they keep changing. So, I mean, in Kakadu, I've worked there for 8 or 9 years, and I was taught by a man who he died when he was about 80 or 90 years old, and I was taught by him. And then his son the rangers were telling me off the other day because I was saying the wrong story. And I said to the ranger, who'd only been working there for a year, I said, I got taught this by old man Bill, so, you know, that's what I've been taught, and this is his country. So the ranger couldn't really say anything, because I've been taught by someone at that level, you know what I mean? But very, very different everywhere. You'll notice, I've got no idea what I'm about to talk about, it's just going to come out of my mouth, so notice how these countries are really big, alright, as opposed to these coastal areas. The reason for that is, have you heard of the phrase to go walkabout?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, go and walkabout. People used to think, because of Crocodile Dundee or whatever, they used to say that go and walkabout was going and looking for new country, alright, but it's not. These are quite strict boundaries, alright. Go and walkabout, that accidentally turned out like a camel, but means farming your land. If you stayed in exactly the same spot, then all the food would be gone. You know what I mean? Who's seen Into the Wild? Have you seen that movie?